The function text is a very handy Excel function which can help you extract the value of a cell with the correct format you need. Advanced Excel users usually use this function as part of more complex formulas. However, many people struggle to understand the basics of the function, especially while handling the format codes required by that function. And that's the reason I prepared this tutorial. After watching this video, you'll learn how to correctly use this function at work, and you also have access to a few important tips at the end. So let's start. The text function lets you change the way a number appears by applying formatting to it with format codes. Let's work out this first example, which is related to dates. In column B, we have the date of 31st of March 2023 displayed 8 times in this table, and our task here is to extract different pieces of information from that same date by using the function text. So let's insert that function in cell D4. The argument value is basically the value we need to access, so select cell B4 in this case. The argument format text is the specific format code you need. Here we need just the last 2 digits of the year, so let's type the letter Y twice, which stands for year, and make sure you use quotation marks for this argument, otherwise the result of your function will produce an error. You can then close brackets and press enter. The result 23 is returned as expected. To get different formats from the same value, all you need to do is to change the argument format text. Bear in mind though that you don't need to memorize all these codes. As long as you know the ones that you most use at work, you are fine, and later on I will show you a quick way to find those codes if needed. But for now, let's stick to the codes displayed in column C to finish this task. So to gain speed, let's expand this function to this entire range, and now we can just adopt the argument format text. In case you need the entire year 2023 to be returned to your function, simply insert 4 letters Y in this argument format text. If you need to extract the name of the month composed by 3 letters, simply type the letter M 3 times in this argument instead. And should you need the entire word of the month, type the letter M 4 times here. Now, if you need to extract the day of the month from your date, use the letter D for the format text argument. In case you need to display the first 3 letters of the day of the week related to this date, type the letter D 3 times. Similar to months, if you need the entire day of the week to show up in the screen, type the letter D 4 times in this argument. This last example is quite handy. USA has the convention of displaying dates as months, days, and years, while remaining countries follow the convention of displaying dates as days first, then months, and years. With the function text, you can convert whichever date you get to the correct format you need. So press F2 in the cell D11 and let's change the argument format text to a sequence of month, day, and year by following the code displayed on the table. The variables days and months will then swap positions. Now a bonus tip on this example 1. As dates have unique format codes in Excel, a quicker way to complete this task is simply by inserting again the function text in cell D4. Now you can select cell B4 for the argument value and cell C4 for the argument format text. When you press enter, the result 23 is returned. If you expand this function down, all the correct results will also show up on the screen. In this example 2, we can apply the function text to obtain different formats to the same value. In column F, you can see the value 300,500 copied 6 times. Our task is then to display that same number in column H by using the different units required in this column G. So insert the function text in the cell H4. The argument value must be cell F4 and the argument format text must be the format style you want to customize. In this case, we should start with the dollar symbol. And here, don't forget the quotation marks, which are mandatory for this argument. we can then type the number format we need. So press space to make sure your final number has a space between the dollar symbol and the number that comes next, and the generic format itself can be done with a bunch of zeros. So in this case, we need 3 digits, followed by a comma to indicate the thousand separator and the remaining 3 digits. Once you are comfortable with the number format you customize, you can then close quotation marks, close brackets, and press enter. The final result will be exactly what you need. In this second step, we also need the dollar symbol, but the number in this case must be displayed in thousands, which is represented by this letter K. To do that, copy the function above and let's make 2 adjustments here. The first one is to divide this number from cell F5 by 1000. We can then eliminate the last 3 digits of the argument format text, including the comma, and insert a space and the letter K, which indicates this number is in thousands. When you press enter, you will get the result you need. Next, we need the same number above, but with 1 decimal at the end. We can then copy that function, press F2 to edit it, and just before the letter K, we need to type a dot, followed by a 0 to indicate there is a decimal here. When you press enter, the number 300.5000 will show up in this cell. To transform the same number with 2 decimals is also easy, as you just need to add another 0 to indicate 2 decimals are required in this case. If you now need to change the currency, it's also simple. In this case, we need a pound instead of a dollar. The easiest way to do it is by copying cell H4 and pasting it in cell H8, and then using the correct currency symbol you need. In case you need the same number with 2 decimals, simply copy the function above and insert a dot followed by 2 decimals, and then press enter. Here's an important tip in case you want to explore further the format codes in Excel. First, copy cell F9 and paste it in cell H9, and let's recreate this last step with a different method. With this cell H9 selected, press the shortcut Ctrl+1 to open the Format Cells menu. Here you can see the applied format at the moment is number. In this menu, you also have other options such as currency, accounting, date, and others. The option that you need to choose in a situation like this is this last one called Custom. Here you have a list of customized formats which can help you while you are building the function text, as you can simply copy the custom format you need and paste it in the argument format text of your function text. However, the most impressive thing about this menu is that here you can directly customize your own format, which can be done in this field Type. So let's delete this word and create the format you need. In this example, the required format must start with a pound symbol, and then a space followed by 3 digits, a thousand separator, and then 3 more digits. At the end, we then need a dot followed by 2 decimals. Note that while you type your customized code, this field sample up here already shows you how the result will look like. As this is exactly what you need, you can then press enter and the correct format will be displayed in your selected cell. A big advantage of this command is that in case you need to apply that format again to a new number you find, all you need to do is to select that number, press Ctrl+1 to open the Format Cells menu again, and down here you find the customized format you created. If you select it and press Enter, the same customized format will be applied to the new number as well. This is an important tool which can be used to many types of format customization you need, including phone numbers. By the way, I have another video about formatting phone numbers in Excel. The link is on the description. As we said before, the function text is helpful, but in isolation it has limited use. However, when you combine it with other functions, it can really help you in your Excel tasks. But that is a topic for our next tutorial. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, and see you in the next video.